What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 20 of the Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. As you guys saw in the last episode, we ended up falling to, once again, the Dallas Stars. How that happened, I don't really know. But we're here, back in the offseason. I think we're in, year 4 or something like that. I think we're averaging about five episodes per season. And yeah, what do we do from here? We got some big contracts we got to sign some people to, and we have the draft to go through. So I marked it down at the end of last episode, going into the offseason and, more importantly, the entry-level draft. But I realized there was a much easier way to remember it. So if you go down to Trade and Improve, Upgrade Your Team, down here where it says Draft Board. Now this is something I've never really used, but it gives us a lot of really, I guess, cool information. So the picks for this year, we have a second-round pick, a third-round pick, 2 fourth-round picks, 2 fifth-round picks, 2 sixth-round picks, and a 7th-round pick this year. So we don't have a first, and we have a few depth picks. But even if we did have a first-round draft pick, I mean, it'd be what, like 27th or something like that. But what's also cool about this draft board that I recently found that I didn't even know was a thing is if you flip over to a couple of these other things where it says forward depth chart. Now it shows you all the different players you have. It tells you top 6 forward, that's a strength of yours, top 9 forward strength, top 12 strength, and then it goes into depth forwards. It says neutral. I'm not exactly sure how that determines that. Top prospect strength, forward prospect strength. So it kind of gives our strengths and weaknesses. Over on defense, it doesn't say we have the best of defenses. I'd like to disagree, but we almost have an all 80s defensive core. Maybe if we get one more, I guess, really, really good player in there, maybe it'd be a little bit different. But it says top 4 is neutral, top 6 is neutral, depth defense is strength, because we have a lot of players at the high 70 overall. Top prospect strength and defense prospects strength. So it seems that we have really good depth, which is what we always strive to have. Starting goaltender strength, backup goalie strength, depth goalie. I don't understand how it says that's a neutral, because currently, right now, we have 4 AHL goalies between the overalls of 77 and 73. So I don't really understand how that one goes through. Top prospect strength. Don't understand how that one's in there. And then goalie prospect strength. So I don't know how they determine most of that, information, but hey, it's just something that I kind of found that is kind of good for us to kind of look at. And with our kind of off season this year, there was kind of one hole, I guess, I saw in our lineup that kept kind of not being a problem, but kept being a kind of downfall. And you guys remember a long time ago we traded away Brent Seabrook, mainly because he wasn't performing and his contract was huge. It's kind of time for Duncan Keith, and I don't really want to get rid of him, but he's making a lot of money, and $5.4 million for the next 2 years. We just got to get rid of him. Like I said, he's not playing bad. I mean, he went from top 4 and 53 points, even 61 points back in 2013, 2014, and just kind of slowly gone downhill since we've started the season, or since this franchise mode. His ice time has kind of declined. He got moved off the power play, and then we didn't even have him on the penalty kill, I don't believe, because he just wasn't good at the time. So it sucks, but he's on the trade block right now. Are we gonna get anything for him? Potentially. So I guess that's we'll see at the draft. I put the surplus on, which is something I don't usually do with 3rd and 4th round picks, just in case they want to offer me like a 3rd round pick or a 4th round pick or 2nd round pick or whatever, that hopefully we can just move that contract, because $5 million is a lot, and we can definitely get someone and pay him maybe even a little bit less to fill a better role. But without wasting any more time at the start of this video, let's hop right in to the entry-level draft and kind of see what's going to happen here. So I did kind of mark some players, not like it really matters because we don't have a first-round pick anyway. But let's simulate up to our first round, or not our first round pick, but our first pick of the draft. And it's going to be a late second-round pick. And mainly what I'm looking for is kind of defensive help, because our defense is kind of our struggle right now. But if there's obviously a good forward, we want to take the best player available if possible. And it's also kind of tough because not a lot of these players are scouted very well. So that's obviously something we need to kind of keep in mind. A high fringe starter. Ooh, A, B, or A minus, B minus, A. So let's mark him real quick and just kind of take a quick little peek down here. We have a gem, but nothing really is scouted on him. He's good at shooting. I think we're going to have to go with the goalie here. A high fringe starter, and he's already has those good stats. Weaknesses, character, does that really affect a goaltender? Not really sure. But, yeah, we're going to go with him. Dennis Jackson, our first pick of this year's draft. 64 overall, fringe starter, high potential. I still really miss the colors in the potentials because that it definitely helped me out, especially knowing when a player is going to be good. But now we have a third-round pick, which is the 9th overall in this round. It's a 71st overall. And like I said last time, we're looking for the best available player, but if we can possibly get a good defenseman and increase our depth, that would obviously be what we're looking for. So it's really tough when a lot of these players are not scouted correctly, but I don't really want to spend, hours on trying to get everyone scouted. Maybe I'll have to start because this is just brutal. So I don't really see anyone that's really catching my eye. So I guess let's just go with this guy, Jerry Turris. I know he's a grinder. It says he's a grinder. He ends up being a power forward. Medium top 9, 59 overall. I'm probably just going to cut the rest of it out if it's going to continue like this, and we'll probably just get straight into the re-sign stage. So here we are with the re-sign stage, and surprisingly, we didn't have any really good picks until the 7th round. We ended up coming out with a 67 overall elite potential, elite low potential player in the 7th round. I believe that was the best pickup in the entire draft. So I don't understand how that one happens, but here we are in the re-sign stage. It's actually, if I scroll down a little bit here, it's going to be this guy. I don't understand how I got this guy. I saw his points, and I was like, all right, he must be pretty decent. And his stats look pretty good. But yeah, 7th round, 205 overall. And yeah, I don't understand how they did that. But here we are in the re-sign stage. We got kind of two major forwards. I guess we'll start with immediate releases. Who's that going to be? Spears, he's been pretty good for us. Yeah, 52 points. He's right on the edge of making it to the NHL. We'll give him one more year and see if he can kind of make the jump. Magwood, I don't even believe we even played you last year. Yeah, that's not from last year, right? It'd be 21, 22. Yeah, he didn't play at all last year. I don't understand how. But we could keep him and give him 1 year and just kind of see what he does. What else do we got? Left wings. Or actually, do we even offer these guys contracts? Strome. He's going to want a lot of money. Yeah, okay, so maybe like okay. How about like how much cap do we have? 18.5 mil. So we'll have just say, let's do some math here. Get out my calculator. Okay, so we have 18.5. So minus that by 7.5 of what Strome wants. McLeod, what do you want? 3 mil, but we could possibly get him for like 2.5 maybe. So let's minus 2.5 from that, which leaves us 8 mil. Over here, Tatar, if you want like a low contract, okay, we're not going to be able to give him that. I'm going to get rid of because he was basically useless last year. Gignac, I'm going to keep because he did real well when he came up here. 10 points in 13 games. I believe he had a couple points in the playoffs too, yeah. So he obviously was doing something right. So we're going to give him another year in the organization. No one else there. Okay, so right wings. Okay, so we can release Butler because he was just kind of a fill-in the AHL guy. Frolik, what do you want for a contract? We could probably give you like a 1.25 type. I think I'm going to release him and try to get someone else for that spot because he didn't really do the greatest on the PK. This guy I want to re-sign. So we'll give him a contract. We'll sign both of these guys to their contracts. I'll give you that. Give this guy this. This guy with the slick back hair. Alright, defense. Boquist. What do you want? 5 mil. Okay, so would we be able to sign him to like this or no? Probably, right? Maybe we'll throw like 6 years. Okay, so we'll just minus 5 off of that just for now. So that'll leave us with like 3 mil. Miller. Okay, yeah, we're definitely not gonna be able to sign you. But we do have already a good top 4, so that's good. Plus, we have a bunch of guys that are looking to make the jump. McCown we're going to get rid of. I probably should have restricted him and then traded him, but oh well. We're going to have to restrict him. Keith we're going to try to get rid of so we can get a little bit more money. And then we'll deal with all the guys we need to sign later because I want to see what we have for money's sake. Dubnyk, what do you want for a contract? We have 3.5 mil left. So, okay, you want a bunch of money. So, if we wanted to bring back Dubnyk, we'd have to get rid of Keith no matter what. So, that would take us, since we can't make trades right now, we would have to wait until free agency started. And we'd have to let Dubnyk go until then. And then try to sign him to a 1-year contract there. But we'd have to get rid of Keith first, basically. So, I will get rid of these 2 guys. So this cleans up our goaltenders a little bit. We'll give him a 1-year contract. We can sign Macmillan. Okay. So you've been doing pretty well in Russia. That's good. We'll bring you over. I wish I could put you down the ECHL, but I can't. And then, like I said, we'll have to do something with Dubnyk. So we have $3.5 million left. If everyone were to re-sign right now without Dubnyk. So he's obviously not going to sign a $3.5 million contract. And the only thing kind of leaving us in question is Keith. If we get rid of that contract, basically for nothing, we could do Dubnyk and potentially get something else for the NHL. But for now, let's go through. Let's get all the rest of these guys signed or at least offered a contract to what we kind of talked about before. And let's hope they re-sign, hopefully for less money. So after 1 day of the re-sign stage, everyone but these 4 have signed. Obviously, we still have Dubnyk there. We have to kind of wait and see what to do with. But round 2, we got to give them their contracts. I offered them a little bit under what we were going to do. So now I'm going to offer them the contracts that we started to offer them. And hopefully they re-sign to those. And if not, we'll have to slightly bump up the money a little bit each time. Finally, a couple days before the deadline, we were able to get everyone but Bedouin here and Dubnyk signed. And somehow we still have $5.7 million, just shy of what we wanted to get Dubnyk for. So I'm going to offer him 5.5 for 1 year. Is he going to accept that? Who knows? I'm still going to try to move Keith either way, but just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update since, it's been a little bit for me, but, trying to work around some numbers and get everyone that we need to re-sign. So let's advance a couple of days here. Let's get up to the start of the free agency season and see what's on the market. So here we are at the start of free agency, and unfortunately, obviously, we don't have that much money to really do anything with, but there's a pretty good free agent pool this year. A couple of higher-end people and a bunch of, middle-of-the-pack people. But then also, we have some good goaltenders on the market, and one which is very familiar to us. So Devin Dubnyk still remains at an 89 overall. He wants $6.6 million for next year, and he only wants a one-year contract, which is good for us. So either we clear up about $1 million worth of space, or what we're trying to do is get rid of Keith for basically not nothing, but to not bring any salary back. And that way, we can let our kind of defensive depth fight for the third line spot. Because we have basically 2-2 left-hander, right-hander defensemen that are kind of guaranteed to be in the NHL. But then after that, we have 11 other guys that obviously want to make that jump. So we got a couple of spots open for this year. We have 2 in the NHL, I believe. Or, no, 4 in the NHL. I guess it would be, 5 technically. But we'll say just 4 skaters. So that all depends on what's here in free agency, if we can move Keith's contract, and kind of how everything else plays out. Because our AHL, numbers are good. We have basically enough people, and we sit at 44 contracts right now. So we can only sign 6 more people. One of them needs to be a goaltender, at least one, eventually be 2. But for right now, I'm going to focus on trying to trade Keith, trying to get rid of basically salary dump that, and get that out of our system, and then come back, and we got a couple of spots to fill. So we end up finding 2 guys that kind of fit what we need in our bottom 6. Those hardworking guys that are good defensively, that we can put on the penalty kill, and they can succeed. So we found Boone Jenner and Patrice Bergeron. Those contracts are not what we offered them. Patrice Bergeron, we offered a 1-year contract at $1.75 million. Now, Patrice Bergeron still has all of his great defensive stats. However, his skating is what's kind of lacking right now. But his shooting's still there. His senses, puck skills, defense are all there. But unfortunately, his speed is not there. So 1.75, hopefully we can get him for that. He'd be a perfect spot on that 4th line with comfort. And hopefully our next person, Boone Jenner, we offered him $1.5 million for 2 years. He's still middle-aged, I guess I'll call it. And he's still got good kind of skills all around. His puck skills 3.5 star, defense is 4 stars, skating is still really good. He still has a good shot. He still plays physical, and his speed's still there. So he's coming off of a big contract. However, we did not offer him that contract. But in the meantime, while we try to figure out what's going to go on with Keith, I figured, hey, we got to fill those spots somehow. So let's simulate a couple of days here and possibly see what kind of trades hopefully come through for Duncan Keith. So both Bergeron and Jenner did not accept those contracts, and I figured, hey, I kind of want Jenner. Patrice Bergeron would have been nice if we could get him, but his speed is just not there anymore. So we attempted to sign Cal Clutterbuck, basically a 4th liner that's physical. He can still play penalty kill, and we did offer Jenner another contract. So hopefully those 2 guys sign. That would fill our spots perfectly. Plus, we have a guy like Gignac that's looking to make the push up to the NHL. So Jenner signs, Clutterbuck signs. I didn't mention contracts. I believe Jenner was 1.75 at 2 years, and Clutterbuck was 1 year, 1.25, I believe. All these trades that keep coming through are pretty decent. If we don't have to move anyone, we don't have to, then I'm not really worried about it. But in the meantime, in the kind of build up to the preseason, I think I'm going to still try to trade Keith, and kind of just hopefully a trade comes through that somebody wants him, if we can get rid of that contract. And I don't think Dubnyk's still there, And if he is, then I guess we'll try to sign him. But if not, there's always a guy like Claude Giroux that's there that we could also possibly get. And Dubnik's still there. So he wants 5.91. There is a contract offer in on him with Anaheim. So if he doesn't go through, then we'll have to sign a backup, potentially like Darcy Kemper or just kind of someone else. I see Marc-Andre Fleury down there. So if Dubnik doesn't come through for us, then we'll have to sign just kind of a normal backup goalie. But let's push our way to the preseason, get our kind of training camp roster filled out, and hopefully we can trade Keith in the meantime. So on the way to the preseason, I may or may not have forgotten about a restricted free agent that we still had, Nicholas Bedwin, whatever the heck his name is. And he's been offered a contract of $1.795 million for 2 years by the Ottawa Senators. Now, he was going to be a player that was going to look to make a push this year for an NHL spot. And unfortunately, I didn't get to him in time, or I basically forgot about him, not going to lie. And unfortunately, we're going to have to let him go because I really don't want to spend $1.75 million on a player that hasn't proved it in the NHL yet, although he was going to get the opportunity this year. It's unfortunate. So we're going to have to let him go. We're going to end up getting a third-round pick in compensation for him, which is unfortunate. But kind of a mistake by me, but also he wanted probably too much money for me to get a normal contract in. So we haven't traded Keith just yet. I'm hoping eventually one of these trades will come through and Keith will be in one of them. So still on to the preseason. Here we are at the preseason, and what a preseason it's going to be. So I wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown of kind of what the situation is. So we still have not traded Keith. But we have some players that have grown significantly since last year. Tony Solani now a 93 overall. He is. We're going to try him out on the first line just to kind of see how that line turns out. We still have a really good second line, a very good defensive, can produce offense third line, and a fourth line, which could be a really good line as well. So our top six is all about offense. Our bottom six is all about defense, but they can still play each other's roles. On defense, no, this is not our final roster. Don't get too crazy. We did send Fowler and Boquist down just for the preseason, just because I wanted to give some more guys some ice time because we have a big battle for our third line spot. And Keith, although we have been trying to trade him, I'm going to give him an opportunity just to kind of see if he still has what it takes to compete. And if not, then we'll have maybe Haig, maybe someone else that stays up here. So Ulevy and Severson's going to be our first line just for the preseason. And then it'll kind of be a battle between everyone else. Then on goaltenders, as we remember from last time, we were not able to get Dubnik due to contracts and not having enough money. So we signed the next available goaltender on the market, which personally is not that bad. We got 83 overall, Philip Grubauer. Josh, how much money did you have to pay for that guy? Well, not as much as you probably think. We got him for $1.75 million. He wanted, I think, $2 million. Then we offered him that. He accepted it straight away. So we know he can perform, obviously, as we could see in real life and in the game. He's put up some very, very good numbers. But then also looking to make a spot, we have a couple other guys that we'll mix in throughout the lineup. Could these guys just be starting the AHL this year? Yeah. Or they could potentially, if they beat out Clutterbuck or Comfer or Jenner, anyone for a spot, I mean, hey, give it to them. I mean, they kind of probably deserve it. So, like I said, this lineup's going to change all throughout the preseason, and you guys won't see the final roster until next episode. So that is it for me today, guys. Like I said, it's going to be a great preseason. Hopefully, we have a stacked squad as far as our forwards go. Our defense, obviously, looking a little bit different than they probably would be. But obviously, we have Fowler and Boquist down here. So, like I said, it's going to look a little different just for right now, but going into next episode number 20, is it 21? I believe it is. will have the start of the regular season. And hopefully we can continue on the success from last year's regular season. And hopefully we can somehow make Dallas non-existent in the playoffs. And hopefully we can get back there and eventually win the Stanley Cup. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.